What up guys, welcome back to Underneath the Veil and Marigolds, and I'm finally back with another video, not upon necromancy, but this could also pertain to some spells or possibly rituals that you're trying to perform, so keep that in mind. Just because the title doesn't say necromancy doesn't mean it couldn't assist you in some way. I'm going to share with you how to break through another practitioner's protection wards, or another witch's wards if you're trying to send some magic their way, but they are well protected. How do you do it? So if you've been looking for information upon this topic for fucking ever and couldn't find jack shit, well, here you be. It's happening today. So stick around if you would like to find out. Can't fucking get my screen to not be crooked for the life of me. So it's just gonna have to be kind of crooked. Something strange going on with the little bendy thing for my ring light, so it's just gonna have to be all fucked up. I wrote everything down because I'm scatterbrained as shit. When I have to do a presentation or something where I gotta turn the camera on and people are gonna be listening, even though there's no one listening right now and I could fucking delete this before I even upload it, it's the thought of not getting all the information out that I wanted that kind of kills me inside. It's not the fact that it's not enough, it's just not everything I wanted. I hold high expectations for the information that I try to give you guys, so I would like to give you everything I can before I perish one day. I'm going to go over a bunch of herbs, spices, materials, and whatnot that you can use, but first of all, I want you guys to really think about what a protection ward really is. What does it do for you? What do you program it to do? Depending on how well your ward is programmed by you is how well it's going to work for you. If you aren't specific, as I always rant about, be specific. Every little thing that comes to mind, program it with that. That's what you're doing. You're creating a little protection program. That's what you're doing with your wards. Be specific. Say the words. Add the things that correlate with that. Tell it this is your purpose. This is what you are set to do. I plan on making more videos about wards, more videos that are more intricate about making wards, not just some quick shorts or reels or whatever they call it here. I really want to make sure people understand that the more specific and precise you are about designing a ward, the better it's going to work for you, and the less room there is for manipulation or breaking through it or finding a way around it. Some food for thought there. I'm burning some amber sandalwood incense in the background, and I love that smell. That smell is just so relaxing to me. I don't know why, it just is. It just feels cozy and relaxing. I don't know, it's just a good combination. And so I found my gin like it a lot too, so something we'll both like, so that's pretty nice to have that in common. I don't have to go out of your way to find something else. It just happened to, it was meant to be. It was meant to be. So if you work with gin, try some amber sandalwood incense. They'll love that shit. First off, you can do a 7-day knob working. Now, those knob candles that they kind of remind me of spines. If you have a spine candle, you could do the same thing. If it's like in the shape of a spine, you can do it for that amount of vertebrae. Each day is a different vertebrae. What I would do if you were doing a 7-day knob candle, which has like these little knobs, it almost looks like an anal bead candle. If you know what those are, if you don't, stay innocent and don't look it up. It's not worth it anyways. But you're gonna be getting a 7-day knob candle. Now, each knob, you are going to write down the layers of protection that you're trying to get through. You're gonna have to work it over a course of time. And if you do it that, you can try and do it all at once. You can, really. But this way, it's a little more discreet. And the practitioner isn't gonna notice little things coming down day after day compared to one big bang. Because some practitioners are smart, some practitioners are very seasoned, and they're going to have passive wards, and they're going to have active wards, and they're going to have wards that trigger in the astral. There's all sorts of wards. If you can think of it, then you can achieve it. That's what I'm trying to say here. So if you didn't think of it, then you probably aren't going to be able to break through it because you don't know it exists yet. Start thinking outside the box, because that's really what it comes down to. And your wording needs to be way more specific than when it has been. And that's how you're going to get there. Back to the knob candle. You're going to write those things down on the 7-day knob candle. You're going to burn a knob each day to discreetly peck away at the practitioner's wards. Those are layers, so you're stripping them away. Or you can do headwork. Headwork is another way to kind of weasel your way in there. So if the practitioner designed their ward to repel all witchcraft, all, okay? The key wording of all, that entails everything, not just baneful magic, hexes, or curses, okay? All. It's catching all. It's blocking all. So, headwork might be a little harder to do. A 7-day knob candle can still chip away at the wards. You still will feel flashback depending on how they designed the ward. It's a given, okay? Some people are a little more intelligible than others, and they're going to design their shit well. So you're going to feel kind of drained. Maybe they made it so their ward drains the person who's attacking them, which would be very smart. You can use that and transmute the energy for themselves. It can be a form of vampirism. Really, you do need to think about your own protections and your own wards when you are performing magic on someone else to break through theirs. That's something you should really highly keep in mind. Headwork can be a way to get through some wards, especially if they weren't designed well. So I'm gonna share it with you because it is a plausible source to use. You can use a skull candle, represents the head, and you can work their head to break down their mentality. So you'd be prying on weak points of this practitioner. When you do this, since your energy shield, the thought process, the crown, is what's generating your vision and the energy flow through your body to create its own force field. Okay, so that's where it starts, in the crown. If you're damaging their crown chakra, then eventually it affects all the other ones and it weakens them. So their energy source to make their own energy fields and anything else that they are working on magically is going to be very weak, very dull, and they might not be doing anything at all because they feel so drained. So headwork is very good for that sense, and it can be very dominating. You can control people when you do headwork like that. You can make them do things they wouldn't normally do. Also, when you program a ward to say, this ward repels all witchcraft, all, and you go to another practitioner, maybe it's your friend or something, or whatever the situation, and they perform a spell for you, it's going to block it because that's what you program that ward to do. So there are a lot of loopholes in making these wards, so you have to really think about your needs, make a list, and check it twice, really. Because when you say all, you are blocking all, okay? Really have to be specific about the types of spells or witchcraft or whatever, divination. Maybe someone's trying to pry into your life and see what you're doing. You have to be specific, but if you ask someone else to do divination for you, on you, they won't be able to pick up your energy. That's what I'm trying to distill here, that the more specific you are, the less loopholes there is. And it might make things in your life a little bit harder as well. So really think about it, really think about how it needs to be phrased, and then start programming. We went over 7-day knob candle. You could do a 3-day knob candle, or just have a candle and set one up for each day, however long you want to keep trying to work this person to chip away those layers of protection. Make sure you have strong wards while you're doing this because it can affect you as well. Any form of transmutation while you're doing this would help because then the energy is just going through its cycle of life at that point, and you can use it for whatever you want. Or you can have a holding stone when you're doing your transmutation and transmute the energy into that stone, or simply do a spell. To me, that's not as simple though. So I don't know why the hell I use simply as the term right there, because that can take up more time. You need a holding cell to store the energy in if you do not have time to manipulate it at that point. So at least it's going towards the poppet of you, and you could store it. It can be your transmutation puppet. You can use a specific one if you'd like. If you want to make puppets for every little fucking thing, you really could. It can be some sort of sachet. A crystal would work very well. That can hold a lot of energy before it starts chipping away and breaking. Every time you need to do a spell to transmute it into money or transmute it into your personal success, whatever, or maybe some weight loss magic, maybe you're getting a little pudgy, you can use that crystal. Put that crystal in the spell work and start taking the threads of energy and manipulating them through it. That's a way to try and contain lashback as well. Transmutation. That's another technique. Next thing I'm going to mention is something simple, but it's very overlooked, is a road opener spell. A lot of witches program their wards to say all hexes and curses, banish that away or absorb it or whatever. A road opener spell is not a hex or a curse. It's not considered a baneful magic. So there is another loophole that you can work with. So a road opener would be very good to what did I say earlier? Discreetly, slowly, gradually get through any built up wards. For this, also you need to be specific. You can say, I need a path to be cleared so my magic can affect the target. You can place their name or whatever the hell, a name and birth date. Open up the road so my magic can get through to such and such, born on blah, blah, blah. So it's a general term. It is, like hearing myself say it, but it's true. If you add too many things in there, so my baneful magic can get to the practitioner, then the wards are going to pick up, because that's how it was programmed. Their wards are typically programmed to catch the baneful magic or return the baneful magic. If you just say in general magic, universe doesn't know what that means. Magic can mean many different things. It could be you're sending them some money. You could be sending them some self-love. It doesn't know. You just said magic. It's a general term. So the roads are going to be opening up. And then you can send your fucking magic once you know it hits. How do you know it hits? Perform some divination. Pull out your cards. Scry. Do whatever form of divination that you are good at, so you know that the reading is going to be accurate. I would suggest performing divination before any of these spells that you do to see if it's a good time for you to do so. There's going to be better times for you to do these things based on your own personal energy, planetary alignments. Maybe you should be doing it on a full moon, because your energy needs to be in its prime state to peel back layers of someone else. You need to be very strong, confident, have energy, okay? Have energy to do this. It's going to take a lot of energy to try and break down someone else's, especially if there's someone who is very confident in their work, knows that they have their own back no matter what. Those people have stronger mentalities. They're harder to break down, and typically they do a lot more research than the average Joe. They're going to be the hardest ones to take down. You really need to be on your A game before you perform any of these spells. So divination going to be your best friend to figure out when's the prime time for you. Do that before, and if it's not a good time, wait a fucking week. Do another form of divination. See how it's going then. And you never know, it can only take a couple days. And then you're ready to go. You're fine. Prime timing is a thing. It's kind of a key ingredient for a lot of us. I understand if you want to get something done now, but just be prepared that it might work a little slower and it might not be as strong unless you waited until that specific time that actually matches your energy correctly. Keep that in mind. So road openers are effective, but they are a slower kind of spell. They tend to move slowly, opening up the doors and clearing the roads. It's not a real fast sort of thing, but it does work more discreetly. If you wanted to work faster, this is one of my favorite spells to do. You can do a Blockbuster spell. This spell will blast any fucking blockage out of your life, out of your way. And it happens fast. It's not a slow moving spell. The ingredients for this spell are like a grenade. Okay? Imagine you're throwing a grenade in the witch's fucking lawn, blasting her shit out. That's what this spell does. Most people don't know that you can use a Blockbuster to get through wards. You can. You can use it for any aspect of your life. You feel like your money flow is getting blocked. Blockbuster for money. If you feel like you're getting blocked at your job, Blockbuster for job. You can also use a Blockbuster to get through wards. You can blast those bitches. The white candle is a cleansing method. It cleanses and removes things out of the way. The red candle is the fiery, explosive aspect, which is you're coming through and burning and removing shit out of the way. And the black one is your protection. There's 3 colored candles that you use for this spell. They don't have to be figure candles. They can be chime candles. They can be tiny tea light candles. You know, if you're a witch on a budget, that's what you're gonna have to do. And then you can simply pair that with a good road opening oil or a Blockbuster oil. I have a road opening oil that has Blockbuster ingredients in it that I have here on my channel. That video is probably about 6 years old, 7, maybe 8. It's back there. I have a lot of videos on spell work and how to do it from beginning to end. You can make that oil and do a Blockbuster and blast a witch's wards right the fuck open. Blockbuster isn't necessarily baneful magic. Like I'm saying, a lot of practitioners are too generic with how they program things. This is your loophole through. And of course, make sure you're safe. Use a form of transmutation as well, just in case there is lashback. Then you can catch it and use it as a benefit for you. And when you're done with your Blockbuster, I would proceed to do your baneful magic or whatever you needed to do to this individual immediately. The Blockbuster does work fast. It can work in a matter of days. So if you didn't have time to do it the night you did the Blockbuster, do it the next day. So make sure the days of the week or the moon phases or whatever are in your favor to do back-to-back magic. That's all I can say about that. We'll go over more ingredients later that you can actually incorporate into the spells, but I just want to get the spells out first. So I would highly suggest the Blockbuster. And of course, pair it with divination, see how it's going. I'm going to mention a couple of spells that would be good to do after the fact that you blasted their wards open. So you can make a poppet, and you want to have something reflective with the poppet. So the poppet's going to be of your target, not you. And you're going to place them in a box. It can be lined with mirrors or broken pieces of mirrors that you are not going to look into because you do not want to get your essence trapped into that mirror and have the ill intent that you accumulate or generate yourself constantly being bounced back at you. Because this is the point of this spell. You're entrapping them, encasing them in their own turmoil. So you're going to place them in a box. You can make sigils. You can have certain seals that bind them to this turmoil if you wish. You can put that on the inside of the box and the outside of the box, you know, a double layer of penetration. You can also place herbs in there, like controlling, demanding herbs, which I'll go over after I mention these few workings that you can do after the fact that you've already gotten through the wards. Or my partner mentioned you need a reflective surface here to keep bouncing the energy back so it can't leave. It's going to be constantly looking at them, so they can't get out of that. The whole point is to bind them, trap them into the reflective surface. If you are a more new age witch, you can just wrap the poppet and the ingredients in foil. There you go. It's a pretty mess-free sort of thing to do, and you don't have to go looking for a box or some shit, or go break a mirror or whatever the hell. You just wrap them in the fucking foil with your sigils and herbs and shit inside of it. This is a more faster working spell, so they don't have time to get wards back up again, so you can fully trap and bind them. So that's what you want to do. Even if it's not the most elaborate spell, you can always layer spell work. I'm going to do a video on how to layer spell work because a lot of people think you can't, but you can. You just need to be a little more strategic about it and figure out what you need to do first, how to do it, and then go from there. I'm going to make a whole video about that. You can also use a mirror, like I was saying earlier. Have a photo of them. And if you don't, you can use a form of spirit powder, not necessarily like the one you would use to for necromantic work. Other form of spirit powder is where you burn strips of paper, have certain words that correlate to this person. It can be their username, such and such, who drives this red car, who hit me with it. That's the target. If you don't know their name, you burn these papers and turn them into powder. you are highly focusing and creating a tag lock with them. That's what that powder is for. You can place that inside the foil if you want it, if you don't have any other information. You can get a small petition paper, write their name and birth date, or whatever information you know about them. Sometimes you don't have all that information, but that's okay. You can still get it to work. Overlay what you want to happen to them. You can fold it and bind it with black string, place it onto the mirror, leave it there. Put that shit somewhere safe where it can never move or be jostled around or separated from the mirror. You want to seal it in there. You could pour the black candle wax. I would use a black candle for this, and then just seal the petition onto the mirror. If I was going to do it this way, that's what I would do. And then make sure you store that sucker someplace where it's never going to see the light of day again. These are quick acting methods to trap the energy that's around them to the individual. I'm gonna go over some oils and herbs that you can use for trapping people, working your baneful magic after the fact that you've demolished their wards, or you can use to chip away the wards based off the metaphysical properties that I'm going to share with you. The oil that I would highly recommend using would be death oil for the baneful working that you're going to do after your other spells to penetrate the wards. Or you could actually use this to penetrate a ward. Up to you. I'm going to read you the description. Brings endings and dispels an energy source, stripping it down to a dormant state. So that's what this oil can bring. It's not necessarily for baneful magic. It's just to bring endings and to strip everything from its energetic source to give it a blank slate. But once you have the blank slate, then you can attack. If you have something like this and you can perform some sort of magics where you can anoint something and get it on their lawn or get it in their energy field, then you're stripping the energy field slowly. It happens faster if you have more of them or more spells with this incorporated in it, and you're attacking them from all angles and layering spells onto them. You can wait and use this after you perform your road opening or your knob spell, whatever spell you chose to perform first to break their wards away, and then use this to strip the practitioner of their power. I have a combination of this oil. It's kind of like a doom death oil. It's a hexing oil is what I called it at the end of the day because my intentions were more ill-natured when I was designing it. I call it maleficent oil because that's the intention behind it. It's the definition of that word. You want to make something like that, it does the same thing. And it's a hexing oil. Strip shit down and you can send baneful magic at the same time. I prefer to have not 10,000 oils that do the same kind of things. I want one powerful oil. I probably only have like 5 oils. I got money. I have a love oil that I barely ever fucking use because I don't need it because I'm fucking awesome. And I have a crown of success oil that helps me achieve and manifest what I want in all aspects of my life because that's what it's for. And then I have my Blockbuster oil that I use to blast shit out and make room for what I need so I can bring my manifestations in. And then I have my fucking hexing oil. I'm done. I don't need much else. I do want to make a divination oil eventually. And I have been gifted some manifestation oil that I do like using for full moons. Other than that, there's not much else that you need. Probably a protection oil would be good if you want to get like a fiery wall protection oil. Those are nice. Make one of those as one of your protection layers for a ward. Let's go on to the herbs that you can use. Almost forgot to give an honorable mention of my personal power oil. You might want that shit. And a good transmutation oil. I think that's it. I think that's all you really fucking need. So that's about 7 oils now, if I can fucking count. Herbs. Now you guys can figure out based off the metaphysical correspondences of each one, like how you want to use this, if you want to use it for your knob spell, your blockbuster, whatever, or if this is going to be part of your baneful magic that you're going to send after the fact that you've performed those. So the first one is High John the Conqueror's Root. It manipulates the target to view you as knowledgeable. This is something that you can use to control their mind, to manipulate them, to warp them. This is like a root that can make someone putty, basically. Next up is rose bush thorns. If you have a rose bush, or your friend does, and it's going through its phase of kind of dying and wither away, tell them to give you some of these fucking vines with the thorns on them. This is great for destructive magic. This breaks down your opponent's protective barriers. Also create boundaries for you if you are creating wards. Use these. This is great to use as wards and to attack somebody else, okay? We hear all too much about fucking love magic and how thorns of the rose bush could destroy someone's relationship. You can destroy someone's whole fucking world with these rose bush vines, okay? You can destroy their whole fucking world. So that's not the only thing you can use them for, is just fucking love magic. So get that out of your head. Another one that everybody likes and thinks is super calming and relaxing is lavender. Lavender can force someone's guard down because it's so soothing and relaxing. And a lot of people find it therapeutic. I don't. I have actually had some allergic reactions to lavender, so I don't use products that have it in it. I can burn it and breathe it in, fine, but it's still not a scent that I actually enjoy. So, I don't know, something must have happened to me like in a past life where I just don't have a very good relationship with it. Anyway, this can force someone's guard down. It's effective when prepared with dream magic. Like I was saying, some people have wards that trigger within the astral realm, or they have protections that are above their bed at night, or in their pillowcase, or in that general area that get triggered when a practitioner is trying to perform baneful magics when they are asleep. That's why dream catchers are very good to have. Basic, I guess, but not really, because the lore behind them is specific. To catch nightmares, to catch any ill intent when you're sleeping, because that's when it can happen. Seasoned practitioners will attack you at night, midnight, 3 in the morning. Around that time is a prime time because your defense is down. Your mind isn't going anymore. You're asleep. You're vulnerable. Important to have wards to protect you when you are vulnerable. Next up is something that's very sweet and everybody thinks is so innocent and fluffy, and they use it in love magic and blah, blah, blah. And this is vanilla. Vanilla is great for manipulation. It can manipulate any situation that you want because it's one of those aphrodisiacs that makes you feel cozy, calm. It's like a welcoming aroma. When someone is baking and you walk into their house and you're like, oh, it smells so nice in here. And it makes you all happy and stupid and goofy and you let your guard down. That's the manipulation of vanilla. Gives off the effect that everything's safe when it's not. Moving on is one of my favorites, and that is sulfur. Sulfur can strip a practitioner of their power. You can also use it for protection. And if you do not have sulfur, you can use dehydrated onions or just onions. They do have sulfur in them. Not as much as just getting pure sulfur, but there is some in there. So if you do not have this and this is hard for you to get, use onions. This is also very powerful when paired with other ingredients. It creates an explosive sort of magical effect. It's in my road opening Blockbuster oil that I have on my channel. This is great for clearing obstacles. Next up is Devil's Claw. This forces the target into submission or to agree with you in whatever form it may be. It's great for numerous things, but this is one of the controlling herbs that you can use. Plants. Calamus root. Can't pronounce it for some reason. This is another commanding root. It's used to bend people to your will. It's a very, very dominating sort of root, and I would highly suggest using this for head work. This would be for something that you would be layering spells for. Also use it for the knob spell since you're slowly stripping away their energetic field, their power that they've admitted to try and keep themselves safe. That's why I'm naming off a lot of dominating sort of herbs, plants, roots. There's another one that I love a lot, and it is licorice root. This is a binding root that can help you control other people. Yeah, it's lovely. I love it. Next is morning glory. This is also called bindweed because this is what you're going to be using it for, is binding an individual. to suppress the will of another, and it's great to create a spell where you can perform astral attacks on a target. So keep that in mind if you're trying to attack someone in the astral realm and you know their wards are very good all across the board except for the astral or in the dream state. Morning Glory is going to be your friend. Next is a cleansing herb, a very protective herb that everybody loves, but they most likely don't know that it does this. And that is rue. Rue. Makes a target feel uncomfortable if they don't do what you ask. So isn't that great? A lot of these herbs and spices and roots are versatile, and I think more people need to know that instead of all these mainstream, a lot of subscriber fucking witches telling everybody the same fucking shit. And I'm so tired of that. So that's why I'm making these videos, so you guys know what to do way ahead of time, compared to waiting years and years later, reading books that all say the same thing that are just rephrased differently. That is so fucking boring and ridiculous that nobody can think of anything else to say. Especially if you're actively practicing. You should have many ideas on what your practice should look like if you're actually doing it. Like, what are you doing? Anyways, I just caught myself in a pet peeve rant. So that's why I don't follow a lot of people who have big channels that have over 20,000 subscribers and shit like that. I don't care. I'm a small channel person because they typically have the most knowledge. The ones who are willing to share everything they know and not care about how society or whatever views them as, because they're not going to get sponsorships for speaking their truth or saying something a certain way. That's fucking dumb. I can't do that. I don't follow people with large subscribers for that reason, because they dull themselves down the more popular they get and the more sponsorships that they get to make money. That's when people get to control you. Now that you're sponsored, you have to maintain a certain face with an audience. You can't show who you really are. You have to be more like a white picket fence witch, and I can't do that. That's fucking dumb. I'm never gonna dull myself down for a goddamn sponsorship. This is what you get. If you don't like it, fucking leave. Next is wild blackberry root. And this is good for entangling an enemy so they cannot escape. So if you're trying to bind them after the fact that you blasted through their wards, that's how you do it. Next up is black salt. This has a great banishing effect. It pairs well with other herbs or roots or whatever to break down wards, because that's what you're doing at the end of the day. You can banish anything you want. It doesn't have to be just a person. Be specific on how you write your petition and the intention of the spell that you designed, and you can literally say banish all wards that protect such and such name and birth date. You leave it open to be vague to benefit you. You be more specific to benefit you. It's something that you really need to think about before you just willy-nilly do some shit. Next is graveyard dirt or cemetery dirt, whichever one you want to use. Dirt's dirt. This can bring things to an end. It muddles and suppresses living energy, and it can help break down wards over time, stripping the ward of its imbued essence. If you have some of that, and you can get a little bit of that dirt, maybe on their lawn or somewhere around their home or something like that, or if you have a tag lock of them, use the dirt in the spell that you're trying to attack the practitioner with. Graveyard dirt, especially imbued with the essence of the dead like this, or if you can take a little bit of dirt from a relative's grave or a friend's grave, and you know they'll help you do something like this, you are set. You're set. Next up is asafoetida. And this can clear obstacles and banish any fucking thing out of the way. This is a blasting effect type of thing to use in your spell work. So if you want to get it gone and kaboom, asafoetida, that's your friend. Next up is devil's shoestring. And this prevents people from working against you by making their efforts extremely difficult to achieve. So this has a very good barrier. This would be great to create wards as well. Solomon's seal. This prevents the target from being able to access things you do not want them to. So if you want to be exempt to divination or people prying into your life through that type of form of magic, great to use. Sweet flag. causes target to obsess over a task that you want them to do until they accomplish it. So this is also a very manipulating type of herb to use, plant. So if you want to do some head work, a little bit of mind control, maybe fuck with their dreams, you could do some sweet flag as well. That's all I got for you. That's everything I wrote down. I'm sure some more thoughts will probably come to me, but it'll be too late. I would have already edited this and put it up. So it is what it is. I hope you guys learned something and it helps you in some sort of way. Until next time, I will see all you lovely little brujitas later.